across the line. Look at that defense from Krasowski, immediately covering off Olivier, but Olivier chucks it down into hell corner, and it looks like he's got a better exit too. They're now going to drag race up to Griffin's Bend.
Yes, they are. Here they're going to be in that straight drag race, and that's going to be Genet trying to hold on behind in that Lamborghini to see if there's anything to be had. Absolutely nothing there between the two of Krasowski and Olivier.
Krasowski's going to have the inside, but he doesn't break quite as deep. That outside is hard to hold on to, and that is why Olivier, a spin though, up at the front. Everybody tries to scatter to the inside. Krasowski falling all the way to the back. Will he get hit? No. Absolutely sends it into Sunset Bends, and cutting back underneath. We're going to go 3 wide onto the main straight and almost cutting across. New Hook nearly gets hooked himself, and thankfully has just enough space to go by Danny Cervantes. Cervantes using that slipstream to catch back up and see if he can keep Kings behind him. Kings has the desired inside line, and once again an over-under potentially no. Ryan Kings now into P3. Another attack from Reynolds, attempted into the inner loop, again, does not stick.
He peeks his nose to the inside through the carousel one more time. They've got a lapped car up ahead of him. When are they going to catch it? Can Reynolds capitalize as he now peeks to the outside? And they're side by side.
If he can keep here, he'll have the inside down into the toe of the boot, and he does. He's got the overlap. This could be job done. If he can manage to get in front and a little too deep into the corner. Schutt has to give it up, tries to square it off, looks for maybe a better exit, and I think he's got it. The lapped car helps him. He's going to try and fight back. Reynolds now gives him a taste of his own medicine as he covers the inside, breaking deep, down into the heel of the boot. They carry on side by side. Has he got the inside into turn 9? I think he might. He could have this one back. This will be an incredible fight back here from the 31, and he's got it. It's closer than he's been before, and it's a white flag lap now. Does he try and get it here? Does he wait till later? This seems like a good opportunity for me. And indeed, he's once again going to be on the inside for De La Rosa, but this will be the outside into Curva Grande. Will we see Laus Stolzen start to come back forward on him?
They got
Don't
traffic.
forget about Iamaki as well. And they're going to have to stay on the side. Oh, no, they come together. They come together, and that's going to send Olsen into a horrible tumble while Iamaki carries on with the lead. Monza's wild finish gifted Iamaki a win to put him farther out of reach, but it also clinched the title for Leskala. That makes 2 very different motivations between the classes today in our extremely short circuit that we have on tap. The GTOs are out here for nothing but the win, while the GTPs have the championship run to worry about. Will it cause a conflict of interest? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 10 of the iRacing Kamel GT series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Adam Lindgren. Behind the scenes is our director, Zach Johnson, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Snetterton is a well-known circuit in the UK, but our North American fans might not be as familiar. Let's head to our track guide to find out more. Welcome to Snetterton Circuit. Like many British tracks that were born shortly after World War II, this venue was made out of an old military airfield. It's a mere 30 minutes drive from Norwich and offers up 3 different layouts of varying lengths. This means the track is easily able to host international, regional, and club-level racing. Previously rather simple, the circuit's most recent update in 2011 introduced a twisty infield section. Still, it's mainly punctuated by 2 very long straights, the Senna Straight, where the pits are located, and the Bentley Straight, which acts as the backstretch. As you'd expect for a track born out of an airfield, there's little in the way of elevation change. However, the one spot in which you do find some undulation, it really stands out. The bomb hole dips cars down in the middle of a quick right-hand kink, causing them to have to keep a heads up lest they lose the car. The track is not without character though. Rich's is very swift for a first turn and includes 2 distinct apexes. There's also the combination of Brundle and Nelson, which forces drivers to turn hard while braking. Never an easy combination to manage. The long sweeping run through Coram down into Murray's can also be quite tricky. The car will want to drift out, forcing a shallow entry into the final left-hander. But failing to give yourself a good exit will leave you vulnerable to attack down the pit straight. Perhaps not as famous as some other British circuits, this place is a bit of a hidden gem in the UK motorsport scene. Fans who get to witness racing here certainly seem likely to return. They see a little bit about Snetterton as a whole, but this 200 circuit, Adam, it's going to be a doozy.
Yeah, absolutely. The Snetterton 200 layout is one of the most challenging circuits in the world, in my opinion. Tight confines, grass on every side, and curved braking zones everywhere you look make this 8-turn, 2-mile, 3.22 kilometer circuit a beast to handle. The Audis will struggle the most here as the aforementioned curved braking zones wreak havoc on the stability and accuracy of braking, making almost every turn on this circuit a serious challenge except Wilson, where the Audi is very strong. The Nissans, on the other hand, feel, well, more secure here, but the many elevation changes and winding exits, as well as turtle curbs on the apexes, make for a challenging ride, even in the big wing box. Multi-class is completely terrifying here, with the Audis needing every inch of the track just to survive, much less be fast. But the Nissans, they can't afford to stay behind the Audis too long, else they lose the draft with the car ahead down the Bentley straight and lose the only advantage that they have. The best place to pass are into the braking for Wilson and down the Bentley straight, but you must be clear by Brundle or else it may end in disaster. This track is always interesting, but with the field size we have today, Joe, it may be downright chaotic.
I don't doubt that. As take a look here at the points standings now for the prototypes, and up at the top of them, Ardo Iamaki is starting to pull away. He also has 18 points in his drop, so don't forget, they have to take that into account in these final races. Lepisto really needs to try and beat him from here on out. Olsen and Sintes Galindo have been swapping third and fourth all season long, and we'll see who comes out ahead here with only 2 rounds to go after this one. Jungbluth down in 5th. What about the GTOs?
Well, the GTO's Yuko Leskala is still in the lead, and he actually only needs a win today, and he will have sealed the deal because he should be more than 2 wins ahead of Esco. It's going to be tight. It depends on whether Esco is here today, and it looks like he is, so this will be very interesting. So with drop weeks, Yuko will have clinched that for sure. Escaleta Niemi 41 points back. Philly Rolla 62 back. Unfortunately for him, did not have a great race last time out. Actually, wasn't here last time out. 71 points back is Mark Ole, still in reach of that 3rd position. And then we have Hideki Koivisto 92 points back.
Yeah, impressively, the 2 drop weeks are both second places, which means 44 points in his pocket. I think that one's wrapped up there for him as we take a look at the race details for today. Round 10. So as we've been implying, it is coming down to the end of it. 40-minute race today. So it's going to be a sprint format. Open setups for these cars. I have to imagine they'll probably want to put a little bit of straight line speed into it. And they don't have a spare car if they wind up with some damage. There's definitely some places where they can reach the wall, but it's mostly other cars they need to worry about. Drive-through penalty at 17 incidents will also be followed by a disqualification at 25. And there's definitely some spots where you could just go a touch wide and maybe rack those up. But again, watch out for the car-to-car contacts to really be the big hassle for them. Ardo Iamaki holds the provisional pole with the GTPs, and no surprises, Yuko Leskala, after his 2 laps, holds provisional pole down in the GTOs.
Absolutely. So no surprises there. And the lap times come thick and fast here. We're talking 106s for the GTOs and 56s for the GTPs. So still that 10-second delta that we see at most tracks. But my goodness, do they turn out laps quick and fast here. So we're looking at 22 lap race for our drivers today. Still 3 minutes left in qualifying, and most of our drivers have set a time. What's couple surprises? Antti Lepisto has yet to set a time. He's currently out there trying to lap around and get his time in. Aitor Sintes Galindo is not going to set at time, so that's very interesting. And Phil Lake, he hasn't set his time yet, and he's just now out there circulating, so he waited till the last minute.
Yeah, wondering if maybe he could get an advantage out of the weather potentially. And yeah, no, he's just now starting his first flyer now, which he still has time, just enough actually. And it's pretty cool conditions out here today. Thankfully, much cooler than what we just witnessed down in Sao Paulo for the Lotus 49s earlier this morning. 71 Fahrenheit on the track, 22 Celsius. We were up to 133 Fahrenheit at one point on the track surface down in Brazil for the Lotus 49s. That was incredible stuff to witness. So Lepisto, who is on his second lap, only good enough for sixth. Again, he has got to try and beat Iamaki, who is on the pole here today. This is not boding well because, yes, it won't mathematically be over, but Lepisto really needs to try and have a little bit of a better gap up to his rival in the points of 56.7. It's about half a second quicker, still only into fourth for him. So, yeah, it's looking like a rough day.
Yeah, 4/10 off of Ardo. So Ardo and Hugh look to have the measure of this track. Ove Trangrade and Antti Lepisto about 4/10 back themselves. Here's Phil Lake crossing the line at 1:6.69, good enough for third position. And does he have time to complete another lap? Just barely.
Yep, just enough. And he's up to third, so that means we could see him on the front row as he locked it up a little bit down into Wilson. And coming down towards Brundle and Nelson. This is where another place he could potentially see some smoke just creeping out of that tire as he tries to brake and turn at the same time. Car sliding into there. Whoa, really sideways into there. Takes a lot of curb. And he is still up on his best time, but he's starting to lose it now.
Yeah, he's trying to do better, and yeah, he's starting to fall off the back at that time now, about 5/10 back. I'm showing on my timing screen. We'll see whether or not that's accurate, as he's coming around such a challenging corner to come around here, and now we head into Murphy's and out the other side. This doesn't look like the cleanest lap for him. I think he's going to be kicking himself about that, but man, it's so hard to make the turn, that left-hand turn there.
Yep, and he is slow, so that is it for him. Doesn't even take the second lap. Don't forget, before we head off to the grid here, make sure and check out the Majors Garage, home of free Baseline Plus setups. Get help from any of the garage coaches 24/7. Sign up now for awesome, affordable monthly subscriptions, telemetry, coaching, and more by simply clicking on our link in the description below. Also, if you use our special discount code MajorsGSRC, you'll get 10% off. Our grid has been set, and at the top of it, Ardo Iamaki will start on the pole position, but Hugh Haycox is back, trying to challenge him from that front row. It'll be Ove Trangrade from P3 and Antti Lepisto, good enough for fourth. He's not out of it, but he's going to have to make some overtakes here today. Laus Olsen starts from fifth, as Robert Plumley will be P6. Then it's Doug Cloud in the seventh position. Doug continuing to improve out here. Martin Krajcik, P8 for him. Gianluca Gabbiani in P9, and then first slide is completed by newcomer Linus Ehring. We've got Mike Gruder starting from 11th, John Keefe in 12th, and Stefan Leslie in P13. To his outside, it'll be Harry Weir. You've got Pablo Suarez in the 15th position, followed by Hideki Koivisto switching over from the GTOs. And Nim Cross Jr. is back once again, starting from 17th. After that, Cam Porter will be 18th, Grant Bristow 19th, and a slew of drivers that failed to set a time. Sintes Galindo, Jack Spickett, Jason Clapper, and Kurt Clapper.
We have Yuko Leskola, who sets the pole time in the Audis, with Vili Rolla lining up next to him. Philip Lake is going to line up in third position. It's great to see Nick McConnell's up there, as well as Reed Miller. Man, I feel like we're back in 2019 show. We got David Donaghy up there in the sixth position, with Escola Tanemi in seventh. And we got Javier Del Olmo in the eighth spot, with Franco Scurry on row 5 in ninth, with Jamie Hamill-Smith in 10th position. Tomas Bartfa is going to be lining up in the 11th spot, with Ian Haycox lining up in 12th. Mark Ole in 13th position, with Oren Laskin in 14th. Andreas Schuster has joined us again in 15th spot, and the only Audi driver not to set a time is 16th Core Eindhoven. That rounds out 16 Audis, 39 cars today.
So a little bit of a slant towards the GTPs. Hopefully that doesn't cause too many problems. Let's take a quick look at some of our onboards before we take off. Laust Olsen back with us once again. Let's see how he fares out there today from the top 5. And then we've got Ian Haycock's a special camera here showing Ian's new setup. And definitely going to be watching this as this race goes on, because this is very cool to see how he's rigged this up. And then finally, we have Devin Donaghy here today giving us his view with VR. So already to the front stretch and giving control over to Iamaki. The Porsche pace car is in. And the green flag is out. Iamaki with a big jump over Hugh Haycock's there in second place as they start to peel away down into riches. It's a very fast first corner here, and so far so good through the field as they finally break into Wilson. Hopefully we got no incidents in there, but let's go down to the GTOs.
Billy Roller got a great start on Yuka Leskala. This is a rare occasion for him. He definitely beat him down to the line. Phil Lake, though, under pressure from Nick McConnell, who dives down to the inside at Wilson. As they exit the corner, they got Kurt Clapper, a back marker in the GTPs right next to them. This is going to actually hurt Yuka Leskala's ability to try and make a pass, but he's actually going to dive out and get behind Kurt Clapper and try and take it as they head towards Bentley and Brundle.
Fight for the lead, and Yuka Leskala down to the inside of Vili Rolla. He manages to hold on to that top spot. Oh, and Rolla's a little bit off the apex coming through Nelson. Yes, more of our lap traffic, or well, not lap traffic, really just slow GTPs in front of them, having trouble at the start of this race.
Pass for the lead, Joe. Hugh Haycock's trying to go on the outside of Ardo Iamaki as they go through Riches, and he's going to do it.
Oh, he's a little bit off, though. Into the grass, holds it together, leaves the door open, and Iamaki wants to try and step through, but no. Despite the space, he's not able to make it stick. And Martin Krajcik had a bit of a problem. He's into pit lane. Not sure what happened to him. We'll check on that later. It is frantic at the top of both fields at the start.
Absolutely, Hugh Haycock's doing a good job of holding that position for Ardo Iamaki. I can report that Yuka Leskala got the lead from Vili Rolla. I think this was the exit of Murray's that caused the issue for him. Phil Lake now putting some pressure on Vili at this point in the race. So very intense racing to start this. You know that all these drivers are going to try and make positions now while they're not being having the chaos of the multi-class. Now take a look at this. Phil Lake taking a look coming into Brundle. Can't quite do so. Vili Rolla, though, very strong under the brakes. So is Phil Lake. Takes it a little deep, though, through Nelson. That's going to cause a little bit of himself to get pressure from Reed Miller from behind.
Ooh, now Reed Miller slips up as well. Nick Mukanos is able to get to the inside of him.
Hideki Koivisto and Grant Bristow are off.
Ooh. And that looks like it's out of Murray's. Not sure what caused that, but I have to imagine the two are related in some form or fashion just as they start to be reached by Leskala, thankfully able to scamper away before they become a hindrance for them. So Mukanos did manage to take fourth place away from Reed. Oh, and a little bit wide there from Haycock's, making himself vulnerable. Iamaki not able to try and get through. Another little bit of dirt kicked up out of the bomb hole. And now they come to the final corner. This is going to be a critical exit.
Yeah, the short shoot to the bomb hole, not enough room for Ardo Iamaki to make progress, but wow, Hugh Haycock so strong as it come off of Murray. Such a fast driver right there, trying to put as much space between himself and Ardo as he possibly can.
Are they coming up to the back of this field? No, it looks like that's Martin Krajcik in front of them, so that's their own class that they're going to be lapping pretty quickly. Krajcik back out after a couple repairs, and boy, the battle has been spicy here at the front, but a bad exit coming out of Wilson means Iamaki starts to drop back.
Yeah, Yuka Leskala out to a 1 second lead over Vili Rolla in the Audis. Phil Lake still about half a tenth off of Vili Rolla in that second position. There's nice battles going on throughout the mid-pack of the Audis between Devin Donaghy, Javier Del Olmo, and Jamie Hamill-Smith for that seventh position as well, as they're all trying to duke it out. I can report that Pablo Suarez has just made a pass on Stefan Leslie for 12th position in the GTPs as well as they headed into Brundle.
Look at this. Here's Donaghy giving chase, one of our onboards today on Esko Lettiniemi, second in the points. Lettiniemi's got to try and hurry up here because he might lose second in the championship at this rate. There goes Jason Clapper off, and also another car. Looks like Grant Bristow.
That's Grant's second incident today, unfortunately, so he's not having the greatest of races. I know how that feels, Grant. I did that yesterday.
In the meantime, Ian Haycock's also in a bit of a fight, going to lose a spot to Schuster. Let's take a look at that onboard here. I love this setup and how he's given us an idea of exactly how he's managed to rig this up, and what an inspiration this is for anybody who wants to get involved in iRacing and thinks, oh, surely I can't get a wheel and pedal set going. I assure you, he is not alone, Ian, in getting a special setup going. In fact, there's a lot of people on the forums that help people specifically try and get those who have disabilities and special needs to be able to race. So
yeah,
love
and
seeing
let's
this.
take a closer look at this, Joe, because for those who don't know, take a look at Ian's right leg. He recently lost that in an accident, in a motorcycle accident, and so he's now driving with I suppose it's been called in the past an assisted setup, but he's using that right thumb, as you can see, to modulate the throttle. He's going right now on an inside 3-wide battle with Andreas Schuster, and he makes it through, and you can see stress on the face, but he's managing that throttle input very well, and especially considering that 4 weeks ago he was in a hospital bed losing that right leg. Driving very, very well right now.
Amazing stuff. Yeah, the eyes were everywhere as he was trying to watch out what was going on. And
oh, Arno's off. Arno Yamaki is off track. No. That's the orange car right there.
He's coming back on. Did he have help? He was dealing with traffic. I think he may have. I think it might have been Mark Olay that made contact with him through that corner and sent him into the grass.
Yes, it was.
So this means that Hugh Haycox is now leading, and Antti Lepisto is in a very valuable second place with all of that chaos happening. He has sneaked his way forward in all of the craziness that we've witnessed. And just think, those first few laps were supposed to be the calm part of this race.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, there's no calm at Snetterton at all. So Arno Yamaki, yeah, he's, oh my goodness, big bottle up right now going on in Wilson.
Holy
multiple
cow.
Cars involved.
Holy cow! I have not seen that in a long time. This massive pile up there. Oh, and just trying to hold on to the car as it starts to slide, trying to make out who that was. That was who was battling with Ian Haycox before. That was Schuster doing a good save and thankfully not being hit by anybody, and somebody is having to take to the runoff there as it looks like they've got a damaged car.
Yeah, this was all started. This was completely insane, and Kurt Clapper is now driving backwards on the track.
Not entirely sure. That is no, he's taking to the longer route. I think he's trying to park the car for some reason. I'm not sure where he's going actually.
I haven't seen this in a long time. Oh, look at this guy. What's going on?
Stefan Leslie looks like Jack Spickett, and I think
insanity.
Doug Cloud on Nimcross Jr. came together. That checked them up. Everybody behind had no place to go, and in the middle of it, you're gonna see if we manage to get a replay of it. Oren Laskin was 3 wide amongst them. That was ridiculous.
I can't believe what's going on. I mean, like, I know that there's a lot of cars on this track, but there's not this many cars.
So Nim's able to carry on. It looks like Doug's now in front of him in 15th. I'm not sure we'll be able to get the replay on that. There's been so much going on out there, and you can see flashing lights behind him. That's Hideki Koivisto, who's making a recovery, trying to come through. Meanwhile, we've jumped over to the GTO second and third place drivers.
Hugh Haycox has gone around.
Oh, and it looks like he is running again. He is in 12th position, so he is not immune to the wild race that we've got on our hands. But his son, Hugh Haycox, is able to carry on. So Hugh now in second place with Lepisto up ahead of him. Ove Trangrade is giving chase, and I think we might have the first incident that we saw spooled up here in a second. Harry Weir apparently among those involved in that incident.
And while we're looking for that, Nick Bakanos just got passed by Escoleta Niemi, and he's under some heavy pressure for some GTPs who are all trying to sneak themselves by. Contacted the bomb hole, and there goes Nick.
So Antti Lepisto, our new leader from Hugh Haycox's issues. Oh, and the 14.
Yeah, that's Nick Bakanos. It's the contact I just talked about. And so unfortunately for Nick, he ends up in the inside wall. He's going to have to recover, and that's about 10, 20 seconds lost.
Wow. This thing has changed in a heartbeat.
Here we go.
Harry Weir's moment. Oh, he just spins. Did he get help from behind, though?
No, he just locked it up a little bit. He came in a little bit too hot and ended up causing that big bottle up. And then on the straightaway, things get even more chaotic behind. It's just complete chaos going on there on track. And it's still pretty chaotic. Even as we're watching this replay, look at these guys spreading out all over the place, trying to figure out where to go. I mean, it's so challenging. And the braking zone in a Brundle is blind, and it's curved, and you don't know where to. It's just so hard.
Oh, we got a battle for the lead in the GTPs. Hugh Haycox has already recovered from his spin and is caught up to Antti Lepisto. Lepisto has not made a win yet this season, and I have to imagine he desperately wants one. He wants max 25 points out there today, but Hugh Haycox is going to make him work for it.
Absolutely, but Hugh Haycox 4/10 quicker in qualifying, and he's got the draft. Is he going to try and take a look through Brundle? He's going to take a look. He's going to try and outbrake him into Brundle. This is a dangerous place to make a pass, and Antti says, you know what? I think I want to survive this race today, and he lets Hugh through.
Indeed. Hugh Haycox also without a win this season, but hasn't been around all that much. Also, Laust Olsen managed to get by Ove Trangerade for third, so the podium completely changed around to a lap ago. And just being held up by Schuster a little bit. He finds his way past Andreas. Going to stay off to the right-hand side and allow them through.
Wow, complete insanity going on track right now. And all of the drivers seem to have sorted themselves out, or were pretty equidistantly split across the entire track at this point. So fortunately, I think we'll have enough room for these drivers to figure themselves out in most locations. As I say that, it looks like Hideki Koivisto went around again.
He got turned around by Donaghy as well. That was contact by the 25, giving an apology over the radio. He's been in a fight, so he really can't sit around. Jamie Hamill-Smith is in front of him. Franco Scurry is behind him. And there is the 21 of Hamill-Smith leading the way of this trio. This is a battle for 6th.
And here comes Jack David Spickett up the inside. He's going to approach Devin Donaghy and Jamie Hamill-Smith at the wrong time. Devin is going to realize that Jack David Spickett's going to let him go through the corner, so that's very nice of him. Fantastic stuff. So Jack David Spickett on the brakes. This is going to cut off Devin right on the apex of the corner. Franco should be able to get a better exit than Devin this time around and get a good launch down the straight. And there he goes. Devin trying to hang on to it. It's so hard.
I think he touched the grass there, and that just almost spun him up. As Franco Scurry is around and he's clear. We're on board now with Donaghy, watching as he tries to turn and brake at the same time down into Brundle. And look at how much steering he needs to get it through Nelson. Thankfully keeps it on the track, but he's now slotted into 8th.
It's so challenging to get it turned through Brundle. The car is absolutely set up sliding left, and then you need to get the car to change directions and turn right. And doing that requires a lift of the brakes, which if you're not careful can send you off the grass on the other side of the track. It's just so challenging to get this thing around here. But Devin doing a good job hanging on to the back there of Franco Scurry, trying to do a good job. Billy Rolla's off.
Rolla from 2nd place.
This was contact.
Oh no, and he found one of the few barriers out there. He's going to be able to get back on in 3rd impressively.
Oh.
Well, maybe not. There goes Reed and Letaniemi.
This was really, unfortunately, just some prediction code mistakes going on, because he was nowhere near the car he made contact with, and unfortunately just ends up getting sent out into a standalone barrier out there that separates 2 different layouts of the track. So he's still going and in 5th, but this makes Yuko Leskala's gap very big.
Gabbiani having a bit of an off also in Wilson. That's been a difficult corner for a lot of drivers. And we just had an off with Stefan Leslie as well. It almost feels like we have an off at any moment you pick from someone out there on the grid. By the way, that actually was important, Rolla losing that spot, because Letaniemi getting by will keep him from losing yet more points to the number 4, who is trying to chase him down in the championship to get 2nd place. Even though we have wrapped up the top spot, there is still stuff up for grabs. But look at this fight here between Laust Olsen and Ove Trangrade. It's been back and forth as close as 0.2 of a second. It's now up to 0.7, but look at all the traffic in front.
Yeah, they should be able to clear this traffic on the straight, at least the Audis. So this will be interesting. Now, Ove Trangrade is about, he's about 1.5 seconds back at Devin Honey at the start of the straight, which means he should be alongside them on the braking for Brundle or into Brundle. This is such a bad place to get caught out, and he's going to get caught out right at the worst spot. He did back off a little bit to try and get a good run here into Bomb Hole. He's going to be able to take a look at Devin Donahue there. Franco's going to be right in his way. He should be able to shoot past. Oh, man. Ove Trangrade able to get by, and Laust Olsen doing a good job of hanging on in front. Now they're going to try and go by Willy Rolla here on the front straightaway.
I was kind of amazed that the pucker factor had not come in yet. I would think it would be permanently on here for Laust Olsen. And going by, he is clear, but Trangrade is not. In fact, he might get held up. Is he going to try the outside? That is risky. They need everything they can through those GTOs, and thankfully he timed it right.
Yeah, but when you're passing when you're passing Willy Rolla, you know that Rolla is going to be tight to the apex, or to the double apex, I should say. Gabbiani is side by side with Aitor Sintes Galindo as they themselves go through Riches, and it looks like it's going to be Galindo that's going to be able to make that pass.
Yeah, Sintes Galindo, though, down in 7th right now as they're all tied up in the middle. Started from 20th without that lap time. This has been an impressive climb, but he is trying to catch Laust Olsen in the championship, so this will hurt him as he will lose multiple points to his rival.
Yeah, Joe, this is 100% a survival race. I think the point of where you could battle side by side with your competitors for multiple corners, I think that situation's gone. Now it's time to take advantage of the mistakes of your competitors and the times that they get held up by traffic. I think we're going to see a lot more side-by-side battling just due to the nature of how this is playing out, but you're definitely going to see a lot of opportunistic moves.
Indeed, and there we saw Lepisto leading Olsen, who's starting to catch up, so maybe slipping backwards a bit here in that blue number 1. And just going by the lapped car for a moment. Olsen really wants to get that second place, it seems, because he is on a charge. And for those wondering about Yamaki, he still sits down in the 6th position and is nowhere near Lepisto. So unless something drastic happens to Antti, I'm not sure he'll be able to catch him up. And having to deal with the lap traffic here, Olsen sits patiently behind Lake.
That's interesting. I think Olsen actually had the room and the time to go around Phil there before the braking for Murray's. I know that would be a controversial opinion, but I would have rather Laust go around me in that situation if I was in the Audi. Now he's approaching Jukka Leskala up to the braking for Wilson, and he's actually best to stay behind because the Audis are very strong through Wilson with their 4-wheel drive, and they can get off the corner very quickly. And there you see Jukka actually gapping Laust a little bit there, and then Laust is able to regain.
We got to go back down to 4th on the GTOs because Lehtiniemi has suddenly been joined by Rolla. And again, championship implications amongst our drivers, just smoking that inside tire a little bit as they lock it up. Lehtiniemi trying to get on the throttle. So is Rolla, almost spinning it, going partway through the grass out of Wilson. And that cost him a little speed here at a critical moment.
Yeah, now this is all really the battle for third because Reed Miller is only about 1.5 seconds ahead of these guys, so it's definitely within the draft, definitely within the margin of error. Look at Billy Rolla, so much stronger there through Nelson as they approach Bomb Hole. He's so strong on the brakes, but a little bit wide through Bomb Hole means that it's going to give Escalante and Hemi a better shot out because if you clip that inside curb, you get a really nice shot out the other side and can shift into 4th a lot faster. Now here we go through Murray's, and it depends on who gets a better exit this time. It looks like Lehtiniemi got a good one that time around, and now we got Galindo coming through as he's gapped Gabbiani significantly.
That was Bristow that we saw in the 38 that was off at the side of the track. Meanwhile, Lehtiniemi is not going to have to give this one up quite yet, but it was a great run down to the double apex from Rolla. Does he challenge him into Wilson? The answer is no.
And look at the battle coming up behind them. That's all for P8 in the GTPs. 4 cars long. That's coming up behind this Audi GTO battle that's now going side by side into Brundle.
There's a look from Rolla down into the corner, but he's not fully through. He's going to send it in deeper. Can he complete the pass? Yes, he can.
And here come the GTPs, go side by side. One of them almost spins off. That was Cam Porter, or rather Gabbiani, so he's now able to hold on to it. And now Cam Porter and Mike Reuter are going to approach the battling Rolla and Letaniemi. They're going to try and go around the outside here of Coram. Such a challenging run. Mike Reuter sticks his nose in, but that means he's going to get a bad exit off the corner. And side by side there for Letaniemi and the other GTPs.
That was costly for Letaniemi. He had to give so much space to those drivers. Yeah, Gabbiani 2 spots in 1 corner, essentially, as we now go almost 3 wide down the front stretch, and they're catching up to Rolla once again. Airing as Suarez is to his inside, finds just enough gap to sneak through, but he gets hit, and Rolla has to go wide just to keep from getting collected in that as well. Thankfully, does not find himself hit by that car, and somehow finding his way back to the track. That was Linus Orang.
Yeah, Linus Orang finally getting himself back, but my goodness, I think Franco's, I think Philly Rolla is going to be a little frustrated at that one.
I would be as well. That had nothing to do with him, and he desperately was trying to stay out of the way, as at least he stayed in 4th place, but lost some time to Reed Miller in the process. He wants back on the podium here to get as many points as he can get. Halfway through the race, by the way, so if you're getting exhausted. Oh, and Ian Haycox. Ian farther down the order now to 13th. Oh, and that's Iamaki. Did he and Iamaki have a coming together?
No, this is completely unrelated. Ian Haycox just shifted into 2nd and spun up the rear tires. Iamaki's a whole different incident.
He spun up the tires as well. Just found himself losing grip. And I think he may have damaged the car as he had trouble getting it going there for a second.
He did hit the inside wall.
So
and he's towed. Iamaki is towed.
Wow. Unbelievable.
He said Lepisto needed a shot. He's got it now.
Again, he will still score 18 points since those are his drop points that will be added to his score from today. But this means if he does not finish, or at least if he doesn't finish within the top 15, Iamaki will get 2 zeros in his drops. He'll have none left. Wow, what a turn of events. Lepisto's not out of it for the win.
Oh, and Doug Cloud and Gianluca Gabbiani had contact.
Ooh, yeah, they're off track around Coram. So they're trying to find their way back to the circuit. That, yeah, I think it was on the way out of the bomb hole that happened. Eventually able to get going. In fact, right in front of 2nd place driver Antti Lepisto, as they start to get their speed up again. Someone else heading into pit lane, and that was well, that's Gabbiani actually. He's having to take some repairs. Laust Olsen with a threat from behind. Ove Trangerade could catch up. No, Trangerade is going to get boxed in, absolutely shut down by Franco Scurry, who had no place to go.
Franco needing to keep track of his battle with Devin Donahue, who's right behind him. He has to say, sorry, Laust, but I've got my own things to worry about. You got to figure out how to get through here.
That's, yeah, Donahue there in 8th place, trying to chase him down. Krejcik might be able to get both, as Laust Olsen now flies through the lapped GTP cars as well. Olsen is trying to catch up to Lepisto in that 2nd place. Here is the onboard view from him.
Yeah, Laust Olsen, he lost 3 seconds due to that well, actually, it's Ove Trangerade who lost 2 seconds due to that holdup behind him. And so Laust Olsen just trying to keep focus forward and not worry about Trangerade behind. I can report that Franco Scurry is really struggling with his GTO right now. Devin Donahue has been putting the pressure on him. Franco's blanching a bit.
And he's got yet more traffic that's coming through. Stefan Leslie and it looks like Hideki Koivisto are going to interrupt them as we continue to watch Laust Olsen. And yeah, here we go. This is Koivisto, who still needs to overtake Scurry. Is he going to try and interrupt things? No, he's going to sit behind them. Oh, a little wide. There goes Scurry with another error.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Devin Donahue cannot capitalize on that because he actually got held up behind Koivisto, who got held up behind Scurry. So lots of drivers having issues right now. And
I have to admit, I've been hearing a lot of chatter over the radio, but none of it really too angry. Obviously, there's some frustration.
We need a replay of what just happened with Oren Laskin, because I can't explain this.
Okay, let's see if we can bring up a new mystery.
So this actually starts with Grant Bristow, but then this happens. Oren Laskin, with the car just sitting in the middle of the track, just decides, I think I'll just hit him.
I guess he expected him to either tow or pull off the way. How did he get there is the question. Oh, a little bit of anticipating wrongly, trying to go past that 38.
I mean, I understand the feeling that, like, oh, the car should move out of the way, but he's not. So...
And he did have a GTP behind him. You know what I bet happened?
Probably look in the mirrors.
Yep.
Because you don't expect a car to be sitting across the start-finish line. So, yeah, totally understandable in that situation.
Well, send that into the not top 10.
That's exactly why you need a real-life spotter sometimes.
Yeah. So be able to look ahead while you're looking behind or something. Meanwhile, as we carry on, more battles here coming into Wilson as these guys try and figure out the spots between Nim Cross Jr., Linus Orang, and Jason Clapper. That's Cross that you see in the number 19 leading in 10th.
Jason Clapper gonna try and make a move here into Brundle. Thinks better of it. I think he had the room to do it, but maybe just not confident on the brakes. Oh boy, gets a little squirrely as he goes through Brundle and Nelson. Linus Orang definitely approaching Nim Cross Jr. Nim carrying some damage from that earlier incident that we saw, so not necessarily quick in the straight line as Linus. So very interesting. Let's see whether or not Linus can make a move on the front stretch.
Well, he's got a good exit. And this looks like he's going to have a chance at it. The question is, does he take it? Nim, yep, you're right. He is very slow in a straight line, just getting breezed past here potentially, and he brakes early to keep it safe. So there goes Linus up into the top 10. Another recovery driver. Oh, and Laust Olsen somehow lost third.
He lost third because he's got major left side damage. He picked that up after trying to make a pass on Harry Weir as he was passing a GTO as they were going around Coram, and ended up getting a lot of left side damage. That's about 5-10 miles an hour off his top speed now.
It was a very hard hit. Weir wanted to go by Schuster, didn't realize he was going to have the third place driver to his inside and slammed into him. So limping along for another 13 minutes. Laust Olsen trying to salvage something. Trangrade now up in third. Lepisto's lost touch with Hugh Haycox at the front of the GTPs. So he is basically running on his own, just trying to survive. And I think we may have found the incident. Let's take a look at the contact here between the two GTPs. Yep, right here.
Yeah, so Weir's trying to go around. He decides he's gets held up a little bit. I'm not sure why Weir's stuck behind the Audi so long. I think it's just a miscommunication, not knowing where he's going to go. And then Laust is like, oh, I guess I'll take it then. But then Weir ducks out and they make contact.
It's the reverse of what we just witnessed on the front stretch. He was watching forward instead of his mirrors and wound up hitting a car. Oh, man, you have got to have a million eyes to race in the Kamel GT series, and someone having issues in front of Laust Olsen. I think that's Krajcik. That's not for position, but Krajcik's in a battle with Doug Cloud behind him, and they're having to get their lap back, actually, from Laust Olsen. No change of position, but that got frantic for a moment.
Absolutely, and as we're watching that, Villy Rolla is about to make a move on Reed Miller for the third position in the Audis. He's got the run, he's got the speed, and we know he's got the brakes for Brundle. He takes a look to the inside. Reed does not try to outbrake him. Rolla very tight to the apex. Wow, I'm impressed with Rolla's brake control there. And Hugh Haycox is out.
Again.
What happened to Hugh?
I'm trying to check and see.
Is this just connection issue?
I think so. Yeah, connection issue. He just disappeared on my screen. So that means that Lepisto has inherited the lead, and poor Nim Cross Jr. is down to 12th with an off track. This involved some contact, I think, with Nick Mukanos. But Linus Orang also was involved. We might want a replay on this one.
Yeah, let's take a look at this, because this, yeah.
This is a bit messy. Linus is going to start it off here. He'll spin. Mukanos was trying to find his way around, and just unfortunately, he didn't expect Mukanos to be there as he came through, and that just kind of chucked him off in.
And Pablo Suarez is off in the weeds and upside down. He just took a toe, but this was a huge incident as well.
Wow. Oh, yeah, somebody is
Mike Reuter.
very upset on the radio, and that is Mike Reuter that you saw.
This was a whole entire incident starting with Reuter. This would be one to look at as well. Here we go, taking a look. So Reuter goes off, and then Pablo absolutely pancakes him because he's paying attention, trying to pass the GTO, and Pablo ends up in the tall grass upside down.
Reuter is very heated on the radio, but I'm honest, I don't think that was really anybody's fault. That was just a bad scenario. And who was that also getting collected in it? Was that Gabbiani? That was the 9. Trying to figure out who that is, actually. So much going on out here. Letaniemi. Oh, that I was talking about the GTP, but Letaniemi was the GTO that was also on the outside that sort of unfortunately forced the situation unintentionally.
Speaking of Letaniemi, he's under heavy pressure from Jamie Hamill-Smith right now, actually. This is for the 5th position in the GTOs. They've got Linus Arang going by them now. Wow, this is a complicated field at this point.
It is, and Lepisto is positioned right now to take his first win of the season after Haycock's lost connection. If you could name something going wrong for a driver out here, we've seen it today. And here in the GTOs, yeah, Letaniemi down to 5th, maybe sliding out of those top 5 as Ove Trangray goes around.
I can report that Nimcross Jr. and Martin Krajcik came together again through Riches. Martin Krajcik dived it in deep, and then brake check Nim, not brake check, but was very slow on the apex, and Nim was expecting to go through there with more speed. The two made contact and both went off. Have now recovered with minimal damage.
Whew. Yeah, who is going to survive this in the end is now Jamie Hamill-Smith getting ever closer to the number 9. And breaking into this corner, Devin Donaghy behind them could start to catch up. Franco Scurry as well. We could have a 4-car fight. Poor Lau Stolson, don't need to go to, he lost another spot to Sintez Galindo as he continues to try and bring it home with a car that is less than stellar. Sintez Galindo impressively up to 4th, and again, championship implications there.
You know, Devin Donaghy might have a top 5. This guy's coming up to this battle as well, to the GTO battle that we've been watching between Esco and Jamie Hamill-Smith. There we see it. He's got an opportunity in a top 5 here. He has been gaining on these two ahead of him, and if he can keep up that pace, he might have a top 5.
Absolutely. And Robert Plumley with an issue. Not sure what happened there. So we come onto the main straight, and Nick Mukanos without the best opportunity to get the throttle down. So he was held up slightly, and that's going to send him backwards away from those fighting in front of him. The 15 coming by, as that's Plumley. Well, how did Plumley get into 3rd? Holy cow!
I have no idea, Joe. The attrition has been nuts on this course. With that being said, we don't even actually have that many people out of the race so far. I mean, to be honest with you, it's not that many people. Now, we're taking a look right now at the battle for 11th position in the GTPs between Harry Weir, Stefan Leslie, and Hideki Koivisto. Hideki going by the damaged Weir, or rather that was Leslie going by the damaged Weir. Leslie actually doesn't have that much damage himself. So he's just back here because he's had a bad day. Koivisto and Weir also have had bad days, but they are carrying a lot more damage.
Yeah, Leslie was involved in that crazy incident that we saw earlier as Ove Trangarade is now off. And he finds himself, well, not under threat, actually. Plumley's still 15 seconds behind him. So despite that incident, he's plenty safe. I mean, as safe as you can be at this track in the Kamel GT series.
Yeah, that was a lapse just a lapse. Oh, another driver having a similar problem. Just little lapses of concentration around here. Honestly, Joe, there's not going to be many drivers out here today who haven't had bad days, except for our leaders. I would say Antti Lepisto, Yuko Leskola, and Phil Lake are the only drivers who haven't had some sort of contact today, and I'm knocking on wood, trying to make sure the commentators curse those guys. As I say that, Jamie Hamill-Smith sends around Doug Cloud at Nelson, and Jamie Hamill-Smith gets spun out himself. And there's a huge gather up there.
Oh, and someone was on their lid.
What?
Stefan Leslie had to pick his way through it, trying to figure out who that was that wound up upside down. Donahue got involved in it. That was, Doug Cloud, who wound up certainly not on Cloud 9 today. And
Lars Olsen almost got collected in this again. He was able to come to a full stop and avoid getting contact.
There's Cloud getting turned over, and my goodness.
Was that Nim who made contact with him?
I don't think that was Nim.
Okay. Oh, there goes Nim coming by. Okay. Just trying to keep track of who's getting contact today. It's insane.
I think that was Weir. I think that was Weir that turned him over.
Oh, no, Weir's in the red.
Oh my goodness.
How do you keep track at this point?
Okay, how long do we have left? 5 minutes. Can we get to the checkered flag, please? This is just some unbelievable stuff today. Been a bit messy. And that's Ove Trangerade still carrying on in second with about 15 seconds back to Robert Plumley, who still sits in third. The 27 that we see there coming off the corner. I think that was the 27. Or is that the 37? It was the 22, excuse me. Sadeki Koivisto being chased by Krejcik in the 16.
We got a nice battle in the P7 for the GTOs between Franco Scurry and Nick Makanos. Franco under pressure trying to hold on to the 7th position, and Nick Makanos on one of his legendary recovery drives right now, trying to get up past these guys. They got David Donahue up ahead, who was on the back of Escaleta Nami, now has fallen off by 9 seconds due to that incident that we saw earlier. So now it's a battle, it's a three-way battle for 6th, when David Donahue was in a three-way battle for 5th earlier.
So we come down into Brundle. How much is he going to be gaining through here is the question. He looks mighty fast. Donahue up ahead of them. Whoa, great exit from Donahue, but poor exit from Scurry. And he's going to defend down to the bomb hole. Mukanos wanted it, but there was no space.
And surprise, Nick Mukanos has a drive-through.
Oh no. So too many incidents for him. So this isn't going to be a position no matter what. And expect him, no, he's not coming in.
Nah, I think he's going to risk it and stay out. Unfortunately, I think he's got 4 laps to go rather than 3, so he might get disqualified for this black flag if he's not careful.
Yeah, he's got to come on in. But yeah, I don't blame him trying to do what he can to stay out. But the thing is, if he doesn't serve it, he's going to get a time penalty regardless. So that's only for the meatball flag that you can escape any sort of penalty staying out in the final part of the race. But this is an interesting strategy call, that's for sure.
Yeah, so Franco definitely within striking distance of David Donahue, and I mean, if these guys hear that Nick has a black flag and he comes in between this battle for the 6th position, they're not going to be happy about it.
Well, they'll find out eventually post-race, I'm sure, as they come out into Coram. And just getting lapped by Linus, now in the 8th place, finds a nice streak by. Watching Donahue as he fends off Franco Scurry. Is this going to be Mukanos coming in this time? He does hold off to the right. No, he's going to stay out one more lap.
Look at this, Devin trying to break the draft to Franco, forcing Ove Trangerade to duck around. Ove Trangerade right now 10 seconds off the back of Antti Lepisto. Antti Lepisto, our leader in the GTBs.
And as we see the drivers come down into Wilson, almost touching nose to tail, all 3 of them.
They did touch. Nick McConnell's gone to the back of Franco Scurry, which pushed him into Devin Donahue.
And amazingly, they didn't change positions, any of them. That's also Hamill-Smith up ahead. It's not too far up the road. We've got 1:30 left, so we're going to be 2 laps to go at the line for Lepisto. Still just having trouble there. It seems like Franco Scurry cannot get a clean run out of Nelson.
And Nick's got to be careful. He doesn't have that many incidents before disqualification, so he can't keep making contact with the drivers around him. He's going to be very, very careful.
Minute left, but again, 2 more laps that the drivers. And
Nick came in.
Yep, ran out of time. So the 14, unfortunately, finds himself having to serve that finally. Here's Ante Lepisto. Now in front of him, that's Harry Weir. Whoa, and he almost spins. Look at how much berth he's given him. Lepisto saw that happening and he pulled way off to the right-hand side. He is not messing around with this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, Harry Weir just... I mean, a lot of these drivers are having races to forget. I'm sure this will be a very popular race in the forums tonight.
Yeah, we're going to have some conversations, I have no doubts, and white flag waving for Ante Lepisto. 1 more to go. He's got 10 seconds over train grade. He can take some time here to try and lap these cars, especially with this battle happening in front of him. He probably will be able to get past Miller. Not sure about Mukanos. He's going to have much better top-end speed. He gets 1. I'm not sure that he's going to get 2. I don't think he wants to try and get 2. Ove Trangarate has a problem.
He just towed.
And he
just towed for no reason.
Plumley is going to find himself is going to find himself in second, and Sintez Galindo in third. But here, coming up to the final corner, Ante Lepisto is going to take the win finally on round 10. It took him a long time, but he's going to get himself back in the hunt and closes in on Ardo Iamaki. Meanwhile, Leskala's got about half a lap to go as Plumley comes across 30 seconds behind for a second place.
Ardo, just a note, Ardo finished in 22nd position, so that's a big points gain for Ante Lepisto as we continue to watch Jukka Leskala come through. That was Jack David Spickett who was off track there and has now recovered. So Jukka Leskala with a 7-second gap on Phil Lake, who just couldn't cut through the traffic well enough to catch up to Jukka. Jukka off the final turn is going to make it to the line here.
Yeah, Leskala.
Oh, Cam Porter's way off.
Oh, and Leskala just took the win in the number 2. So Leskala takes victory. Phil Lake is second, and Rolla is going to limp home in third.
Lars Olsen will get 4th of the GTPs because Cam Porter was miles off the track through Coram.
I'm not sure what happened to Trangarate. I have a theory that maybe he hit the incident limit and knew that he needed to come in to serve a penalty, but I have no idea if that's the case. Regardless, there you see Parkinit Lepisto going to celebrate as everybody else licks their wounds, and we take a break because we're going to come back with the official results as well as driver interviews very soon.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in endorsed series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Snetterton, and one of the wildest races we've seen, and this season has seen a lot of wild races. Ante Lepisto finally gets that elusive victory, and Robert Plumley follows him home a distant second, 30 seconds behind essentially. Heitor Sintez Galindo from 20th on the grid, and I don't even know how many passes he made because plenty of them were gifted to him. He gets a podium. Lars Stolsen, though, finished behind him, and that will unfortunately allow Sintez Galindo to lead them with 2 races to go. Olsen was 4th. Cam Porter, a P5 up from 18th. He did qualify. That was impressive. He was the last one on the lead lap, by the way. Ove Trangrade mysteriously finding himself taking a tow on the last lap. He finishes 6th ahead of Jason Clapper, 7th, and Linus Orang with a lot of issues out there finishing 8th. Jack Spickett was P9 with Hideki Koivisto finishing 10th. Then you've got Martin Krajcik on the beginning of the next slide in 11th. Stefan Leslie was 12th, and Nim Cross Jr. first one 2 laps down on 13th. Hugh Haycox wound up reconnected, but 2 laps down P14, and Harry Weir, last of them able to finish in P15 in the GTPs.
We got Yuko Leskala taking home the win in the Audis, with Phil Lake 7 seconds behind. Those two, the only Audis who did not have trouble today. Villi Rolla comes home in 3rd position after spinning off and ending up in 6th. Then we got Reed Miller in 4th, a good run for him, but still making some contact with some drivers over the course of this race. Escalante somehow ends up in the 5th position himself after being off track multiple times. David Donaghy in 6th spot with Mark Ole in 7th, and Franco Scurry in 8th spot today. Ian Haycox had a spin off of Wilson that ended up sending him back in the back of the field. He's in 9th today, with Andreas Schuster in the 10th position. Nick Bacanos had multiple moments where he was off track, unfortunately. He ends up in 11th today, and then the rest of the Audis had major issues. Jamie Hamill-Smith, Tomas Bartfly, Oren Laskin, Javier Del Olmo, and Cor Eindhoven did not start.
And we've solved the mystery of Ove Trangrade. He pulled a Mark Martin, thought the race was over, and pulled off and exited. So, oh boy. Yeah, could have had a 2nd place and threw it away in the end. Oh. Wow, that was something. That was one of the crazier races we've ever witnessed here on the channel. And unfortunately, it looks like that means not many are interested in talking to us, because I don't see anybody the ready for interview room right now. So not sure that we'll get to have a chat with anybody. Should I even ask for thoughts, Adam?
Well, this is one of the most crazy races we've seen this season and in recent seasons, to be honest with you. And I think it all comes down to just the track design and how these cars behave around it, especially with the new delta between the GTPs and the GTOs that came through a couple seasons ago. The gap used to be about 5 seconds. It's out to 10 now with the speed improvements of the GTPs and the fact that the turbo lag has been correctly reduced on these machines. So the GTPs are a lot faster. The Audi's gearbox is a lot more challenging to drive. And let me tell you, it's a sweaty thing driving around this track in either of these vehicles, but especially with 40 cars out there. I mean, we have the potential for another 20 vehicles. So I think these drivers have got to be thanking their lucky stars it was just 40 today.
So it looks like we have our 3rd place finisher in the GTPs coming in to talk to us, Heitor Sintez Galindo, who had to climb up through so much of the field here. Heitor, you failed to set a lap, or I'm not sure, maybe if you intentionally didn't set a lap. Whatever the case, it didn't seem to hinder you too much. Somehow you wound up on the podium.
I just can't believe what just happened. I was... yeah, I just kept my nose in. Yeah, I failed my quality attempt. The first corner I went off and I say, okay, second attempt. But then since this track has the finish line like before the exit of the pit lane, it made me count the out lap as a second lap, so I couldn't make a qual lap. But wow, as if this was the case today. Oh, my goodness! I just kept pushing. Like what happens to me is like I put into quali mode and then I forget about putting on quali mode in the race, and I push all the way to the finish. But yeah, I'm very happy with this podium. I didn't expect it at all.
How many cars did you actually pass on track, or were most of them drivers falling by the wayside with accidents?
I think a couple of cars that were on the start. I think I passed Pablo and a couple of guys at the beginning, and then it was just guys who were limping or going very slow on the straights, and that was it. And that's all I did was I just made the podium by simply finishing. But yeah, well, congrats to Antti, before that, because I think it's his first broadcast win. And yeah, commiserations to Ove. He also had the same problem as me, that he saw the checkered flag at the last lap. For a brief moment, there was a checkered flag, but then I saw the white flag, so I kept going. But Ove, I think he didn't see the white flag, so that's why he was on the, well, he stopped on the last lap, and yeah, I don't know. Apart from that, 2 cars, I guess. Yeah. Oh, that was a race of survival today, and yeah, apparently that went well for me.
It certainly seemed to. Anybody you want to thank before we talk to some of the other survivors today?
Yeah, there are plenty of survivors today. Well, my family watching, my teammates at Pushrod, and of course you guys for the awesome broadcast. Looking forward to see the replay, and the Kamel community for having such fun community. Yeah, probably I'm seeing a lot of messages on the forum, so probably there will be a lot of heated discussions. So yeah, we'll check it out later. And yeah, thanks to everybody. See you next week at Motegi.
I hope everybody's able to calm down, as that was Aitor Sintez Galindo in 3rd place. Up next, 2nd in the GTOs, it is Phil Lake with Adam.
Yeah, Phil, a very chaotic race today. I'm very happy to see that you got through and came home in the 2nd position. Obviously not much of a chance at fighting Yuko ahead, but talk to me about your day today.
Yeah, I mean, I may have had a chance to fight with Yuko. I think when we both had clean air, I was matching his lap times, or close enough. But yeah, you just didn't get a lot of clean air today. It was a bit disappointing, actually. It was a lot of the veteran guys that should know better making the really bad moves, and the new guys, which usually get a bit of stick off everybody, were the ones doing what you would expect, like being patient and making good decisions.
Yeah, we definitely witnessed some of that ourselves as well. But Phil, I mean, this track, it's pretty polarizing among the Kamel community. Talk to me about your thoughts about Kamel running around this track.
Yeah, I know not a lot of people like the track. I don't think it's the track's fault for what happened today. It's a pretty straightforward circuit, really. It's just a lack of patience, really. The track will probably get blamed for it, and then we'll move on and not come here again for another year. But yeah, I quite like the circuit, and I don't really think it caused any of the issues today.
Well, next week we head over to Twinning Motegi, which is a very different style of circuit for sure, with a decent amount of long, 90-degree or almost 90-degree corners. What are your thoughts heading into that circuit?
It's not a very popular track again, but that's one of my favorites. It should work a lot better. There's a lot more space. It's a lot longer lap, much wider as well. The only issue we've had there in the past is the final sort of 3 turns, that kind of fast left chicane complex, and the fast sweeping S's in the middle of the lap can be a bit confusing about what side of the track the Audi's going to be. But compared to today, it should be a lot easier for everybody.
Well, thanks for talking to us, Phil. And is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Just you guys, as always. And just a quick reminder to everybody that week 13, I'm hosting the Road America 500, and the sign-ups are open.
That sounds fun. All right. Thanks for talking to us, Phil. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Cheers, Adam.
That was Phil Lake, who finished in the 2nd position in the GTOs. And then we got Laust Olsen from the GTPs, who finished in 4th. He's talking with Joe.
And fourth is probably better than I'm sure you imagined yourself finishing come halfway through that race, Laus. Did look like you got a bit of damage that made it hard to keep up.
Yeah, I got, I think, something like 2 seconds worth of damage. Lost a couple of seconds each lap. So, but it looked like other people had more bad luck than me. So I consider myself pretty lucky that I came home in fourth place. When it goes wrong, it's a bit lucky that it didn't get worse.
Yeah, it can always get worse, right? Especially in Kamel.
Yeah.
But I'm talk about the battle that you're having with Aitor here in the championship. You two have been so close. You came in actually tied on points here, but now he's going to come out with 2 rounds to go with a small advantage. What can you do to try and finish ahead of him at the end of the season?
First of all, stay out of trouble. That will be. He seems to be very good at taking the opportunity when when I get into trouble and getting the good finish position. So I have to. I tried to keep my nose clean this race, but yeah, didn't work out well.
We're talking to Phil Lake about Motegi up next. It's a much longer lap out there, but there's also many more turns. How do you feel about heading off to Japan?
It's one of the good tracks. I think I like it, so I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, we'll keep an eye out for you, and commiserations on not getting a podium, but congratulations on a top 5, sir.
Thank you very much.
That was 4th place today, Laust Olsen. And that's going to wrap us up. So before we go, we want to thank the sponsor once again, Majors Garage. Again, check out the link in the description below and use our special discount code MajorsGSRC to get 10% off. Thanks goes to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here. And a special thank you to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. Check out her Bandcamp for more great work. Thanks to the team today, Adam, Zach, and Dougie. You can find more info about GSRC at globalsimracingchannel.com or through our social media. And check out our merchandise store. It's gsrc.storenv.com. We'll keep a link in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a moment, because next week, as we mentioned, it's off to Motegi. That's the road course, of course, on Saturday, February 26th at noon Eastern. We have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out. Mark them down on your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.